Hello, this is SK Williams, and today I would like to talk to you about elections. The United States, where I live, is drawing nigh to another election year, in which either President Donald Trump shall secure a second term, or shall be ousted in favor of another candidate. Presuming, of course, he lasts in office until then, as there are impeachment hearings being drawn up against him, although they have yet to be finalized in a formal complaint. Meanwhile, back in the United Kingdom, my ancestral homeland, another election shall be happening next year for Parliament. So, 2020 is a good year for democracy. The best system of government mankind has ever devised to rule itself under, and the only one that allows us to have freedom. At least that's what we're told. I'm not really a fan of democracy. I'm actually a monarchist. And this is because I view the mythology about how democracy gives us freedom and how having a monarchy means we would have no freedom to be rather absurd. The form of government you live under does not actually determine whether or not you have freedom. But what's more, we have seen freedoms erode quite quickly under democratic systems. It's just that we subsequently brand them as not democracy as soon as we have decided they are evil. Nazi Germany wasn't democratic simply because, well, they were evil, basically. And believe it or not, we don't think of the communists as democratic, but the communists did. Communists actually quite frequently referred to themselves as democratic, in fact. For example, Vladimir Lenin once wrote a document known as the Democratic Tasks of the Revolutionary Proletariat. It would seem rather odd if communism was not democratic at all, and if communist leaders reviled democracy, for that to be the case. Indeed, you have several different remarks by Lenin about the positiveness of democracy, and the same can be true of Mao Zedong and Pol Pot and Stalin. They all called themselves Democrats. They all claimed to support democracy. It's just that we don't see them as such. And yet we do see as monarchs anyone who is bad, whether they are officially titled that at all. North Korea is a monarchy, and when we wish to insult Donald Trump, we say he is not a king. It's been all over the news recently, and it's rather irritating, because monarchy does not mean dictatorship. But what really bothers me about elections is that they seem to bring out the worst in people, and yet we are supposed to pretend they bring out the best. There is an unhealthy sense of competition which turns neighbour against neighbour and breeds the most vile of attitudes. And it just seems that electoral systems drive people towards extremist positions simply so they can justify having political parties to vote against. If they were both virtually identical, what would be the difference between voting for one party or the other? And even minor differences aren't significant in most people's minds to really generate a significant interest for them to actually participate in. Democracy is an inherently unstable system that actively encourages social disorder, while at the same time promising freedoms that never materialize, whose basis is on nothing more than popularity at the moment. I've never really appreciated democracy, and I do feel that we are looking at a situation in which democracy will prove me right once again. At any rate, I will resume this topic later. I'm going to sign off now. Thank you, God bless, and goodbye.